Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the Bologna Show, presented by the Chicago Sports Bums. I am Bologna, and I'm here with my Bourbon Bums cohort, partner in crime. It's Jason, the HBIC. Jason, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm in the Bourbon Bums Cantina, or the BBC as we call it. And you look like you're ready to put on a camp show for everyone, dude.
Dude, I really does feel like some sort of OnlyFans or Bologna fan setup back here. I'm in my parents' house, in my childhood bedroom, because I have no power at the house. We have a special guest coming on, Davey Jones of House Suntory, and we won't keep you waiting. But yeah, I have to address the elephant in the room, and I don't have my usual backdrop. I don't have my nerd stuff and my bottles. I am in my what used to be my room. Now it's a guest bedroom. But I brought one of my old soccer jerseys just to hang up, just to have a little ambiance.
Well, if anyone's watching, if you super chat us, Baloney might do some stuff.
No. We're keeping this PG. We got a guest. If it was just me and you, maybe we'll get some super chats going. But no, we got some business to take care of before we get our guest on. Jason, we are a couple days away from Whisky at Comiskey. The RSVPs are still open on our Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
And through the roof.
And through the roof. The RSVPs are coming in hot and heavy. We're excited about this. You guys know us. We are the Bourbon Bums. We are the Tequila Bums, but we are big-time White Sox fan. And because it is Dodgers versus White Sox, we kind of wanted to capitalize on the Munetaka Murakamis of the world, the Shohei Otanis of the world. We're going Japanese whiskey at Comiskey on Saturday. House Suntory will be there along with JP Graziano's Off Hours Brewery and Jepson's Malort, courtesy of the Malort Princess. We're excited. Jason, what can you tell us about Saturday?
Well, I know that we're going to be tasting a lot of Japanese spirits, a lot of whiskey, some gin, some vodka. If you haven't tried any of the Japanese stuff, and Davey will tell us about that. But like I said, it's all things Japanese with the Dodgers, and Malort Princess is probably going to have some wacky infusions. She always does some flavors. So I'm trying to get the details out of her. Is it going to be like green tea, wasabi, ramen? Like what's she thinking here? But it's going to be a fun time. And of course, we got our new friends at Circus Sports Illinois going to be there as well. So
yeah, we got some surprises for you on Saturday, courtesy of Circa and courtesy of a couple other people. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to RSVP. Like I said, it's pinned on our socials. It's on Instagram, Twitter. It's pinned on our Twitter page, X, whatever you want to call it nowadays. But yeah, I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. I don't want to keep our guests waiting too long. Jason, I'm going to play a quick ad for our good friends at Penguin Ink Prints, and then we'll talk to Davey Jones of House Suntory.
Penguin Imprints is an independent print and custom apparel shop specializing in direct-to-consumer orders. From file prep to final cut, every order is treated like it matters and not rushed through mass production like other print houses. From sticker packs to t-shirts, custom artwork, and more, Penguin Imprints has something for everyone. Make sure to keep an eye on their socials for all their latest releases. Penguin Imprints is a proud sponsor of the Bologna Show. Head over to penguinimprints.com and type in promo code Bologna for 20% off your purchase.
Welcome, Davey.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How we doing?
We're good. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Damn glad to be here, fellas. Nothing like hanging out on a Wednesday, having a whiskey with the fellas. So it's good. It's a good day.
I gotta get poured too.
After the day I had with the storm and everything else, I feel like a whiskey or two is well deserved. I'm sure you guys are going through it as well. Davey, we're very excited about Saturday. We want to thank you and everyone at Suntory for this. It's going to be a fun time. But I wanted to get into it right away. Just getting your story of like how you got into whiskey, because we've told this on the Bourbon Bums reviews and on our different platforms. Jason and I got into whiskey kind of two different ways. We were pounding scotch in Mexico of all places for a week straight. And then Jason had a bottle of Weller 107. It was a store pick from where was it? From Big Star,
Big Star.
correct?
Yeah, Big Star.
And that's when I realized that whiskey could be something different than just like the stuff you chugged in college to get you kind of weirded out. But everyone's journey is different. How is it that you got into the whiskey?
Well, I've been in the restaurant and bar industry for over 20 years. Actually, pull it up on 23 years now. I'm kind of old. Wow, that really dated myself. You can't tell by all the gray in the beard. It's
Hey, I got it too.
yeah.
I got it too.
Yeah, it said salt and pepper look, you know. But yeah, I've been in this industry for a long, long time. I traveled the country. I've worked in many different states. I started off my career down in Texas, in Houston, Texas, to be specific. From there, I was in Nashville for a while, and of course, like hop, skip, and a jump away from Kentucky and doing the Bourbon Trail and all that. And I ran a bar out there called Union Common, which for the longest time had the largest brown water selection in the entire city. I don't think they hold that moniker anymore, but when I was at the helm, we had the largest Scotch, whiskey, rye, bourbon portfolio in the entire city. That's where my love really started to blossom for bourbon, was running that bar, because and basically all whiskey, all brown water, I had it at my fingertips to start tasting and learning and experimenting more with different cocktails, different flavor profiles, having the opportunity to talk to a lot more of makers and distillers, and learning the stories and the processes behind all of these amazing products. That's where my love started to really just start to grow. Then I took a weird turn and got into rum for a while. Figured my name is Davey Jones. I got to lean into that like pirate moniker for things.
I wasn't gonna make any pirate jokes. We don't know each other that well. Hopefully, we'll get to know each other better. But I wasn't gonna make any pirate jokes to start.
Well, I had to lean into it for a little bit. Really fell in love with rum. It's a very amazing spirit. It's got a lot of just nuance and flavor, and there's so many different types out there. So I went that route for a little bit, but I was running this small little bar in Charleston, South Carolina a couple years ago, and had my first taste of Yamazaki 12. And I remember tasting it, and after one sip, I was like, I'm going to work for this company one day. And now I'm the national brand ambassador for the central region of the United States. So I kind of put that out in the universe. I love this company. I love this whiskey. No one makes whiskey like them. The story is romantic and in depth, and what they do no one else can do, and it's just a really cool whiskey, man. It's cool juice to drink. It's like I said, it's got an amazing story and amazing history.
Like I kind of actually agree with you on the rum portion, because I think a lot of people like they just drink the Bacardi and like that kind of the flavored stuff, all the flavored rums, and then but if you actually go like to Mexico or Caribbean or whatever, and you try like real Cuban rum or like Foursquare, Barbados, like all those kind of island rum, like that's some really good stuff. Like
Absolutely,
I'm a big fan of Barbados rums. Like
I love rum de Barlito. It's probably my favorite rum out there. It's Puerto Rican rum. It's really tasty.
Yeah.
Now, I do appreciate it, and it's something I already noticed twice. You called it brown water, and we do whiskey reviews. Sometimes we get caught up in like what people should say or shouldn't say. I heard you call it juice. I say juice all the time as well. People get offended by that for some reason.
No, it's good juice, man. Like it's
juice, right?
It's fun to say, dude. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's the spirits industry. Like, when I'm doing, my guided tastings on, our higher level stuff, like, of course, I'm very dialed in. I'm very buttoned up. I'm in my suit and tie and, telling these stories. But we're here having fun, and it's alcohol at the end of the day. I'm not sitting in a rocket into space. I'm talking about booze. Like we don't have to take it so seriously all the time. It's fun, man. This stuff is fun. So let it be fun. Call it juice, call it booze, call it, there's no rules to drinking, I always like to say. And I think it's just fun to have a glass of this stuff,
Hell yeah. So let's just go around the room. Jason, I'll start with you because I know you got a couple of the offerings going.
Yeah.
What did you start with? What are we drinking?
So
What's the
I'm gonna.
juice?
I figure
What's the
we'll
juice of
talk
the
about
day?
some of this stuff, but I just got the Toki, and if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize.
No, you nailed it.
Because anyone who watches our shows knows I can't pronounce shit for shit.
We're not pronunciation people.
No, we are not. But yeah, so I went with this, and when I grabbed this, I did see the black label for that, which is a little. I'm guessing it's a little more speedier.
Yeah, so there's two differences about it. So the cool thing about what Toki is a true blended whiskey at what we do at Suntory. It represents all three of our distilleries that we have. We have three different distilleries. Our flagship and founding distillery is Yamazaki. We opened up in 1923. The second distillery we opened up is called Chita. We opened up that one in 1972. The third distillery we opened is called Hakushu. That one was opened in 1973. What's in Toki is a blend of all three of those distilleries. The backbone of it really is Chita. Chita is our single grain distillery. And that's really like the punchiness, the background, the full body experience that is Toki. 50% of that blend is that single grain, and it carries with it this amazing sweetness, these awesome vanilla notes, that burnt sugar, that caramel sweetness, like something very familiar and reminiscent of an American bourbon, for instance, because what that Chita is in there is aged only in American white oak casks. So it has that normal, like not normal, but that familiar flavor of what American white oak really imparts in it. And then the next pillar is Hakushu, and Hakushu is our lightly peated whiskey. It is the third distillery that we opened up, and also the Hakushu is aged in American white oak cask as well. That goes in that one, but that's 25% of that blend. So 50% is that single grain. So now we're moving into our single malts. Another 25% is Hakushu, and then that last 25% is from our founding distillery, Yamazaki. But Yamazaki only aged in sherry casks. So now you get this amazing red fruit and these thick golden raisins and figs and dates, like these amazing red fruit qualities that come in right at that finish and really rounds everything out. And everything's perfectly balanced together. So you're really tasting all of these ingredients at one time. It's a banging cocktail whiskey. It's great I like them in an old fashioned. I prefer them in a highball, but it's great just neat on the rocks as well. But what's different about the Yamazaki or the Toki Black is the addition of another grain whiskey that we actually make at not our grain distillery, but our single malt distillery. So we're making a grain whiskey at Hakushu Distillery with a smaller still called a Kopi still. So it really gives us amazing kind of like butterscotch and like creamy quality to the whiskey. And then, yes, we are adding more heavily peated instead of the lightly peated Hakushu. We're adding some heavily peated Hakushu into that mix. So it is going to give it a little bit more of this peat smoke. But when you're thinking about the peat smoke that's in like Toki, even if you're just drinking Hakushu by itself, our single malt Hakushu, it is not like Islay Scotch smoky. It doesn't have that peaty slap to the face. It is a very low presence of peat, and it's very more welcoming. It's there, you notice it, but it fades away immediately, and all those other flavors really start to come out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the peatiness part. Like, because like me and like Peter was saying, like we started a lot with scotches, a lot of Johnny Walker, and I started drinking a lot of like the Oban Macallans, Lagavulins, like just getting into that.
Nice.
And I don't mind a lot of peat. I kind of like the smokiness, but this with the light peatness, it's great because it makes it one. It's very what we say when we do our reviews. It's very crushable, and you just want to keep on going back for more of it.
It brings you back for more. That's what it's there for, right? It's like that salt, right? That like accents all the rest of the flavors. It brings you back for wanting more and more.
Yeah.
Now, Davey, you mentioned that you were in the bar and restaurant industry, and you kind of manifested it, that you said, I'm going to be working for this company. When did the transformation or the change happen to where you became brand ambassador? And what does that mean when you say you're brand ambassador for Suntory?
So I have been working for Suntory Global Spirits for the last 5 years now. Cheers, my guy. I started off, I always knew I wanted to be on the ambassador side. when you're running bars and you're working at a lot of these different bars, you meet a lot of really cool ambassadors along the way, and they come in and they tell you these amazing stories, and they give you, you know, the history of the product and the history of the distillery. And it's kind of a very, I don't know, very romantic job where you're just kind of like, if I could nerd out for a little bit, like you're a bard, you know, you're telling a story, you're capturing everybody's attention. You know, actually, in one of our brand ambassadors who works for Lefroy, Simon, he actually does sing songs and sing cheers to people. So he technically is in the truest form a bard, but for Scotch, it's great. But I met a few along the way that actually kind of gave me a lot of information, helped me with my education along the way. But when I started with Suntory, I started actually on the sales side of things, which was good because it helped me learn all the inner workings of how a massive spirits company works. You know, calling on accounts, learning not just one singularity product, but everything in the full portfolio, like all of our bourbons, all of our whiskeys, all of our gins or vodkas, everything that we have in that portfolio. And that really also helps increase my education, not only for those products, but competitor products, right? And then along came this job opening. Came up about 3 years ago, actually almost 4 years ago now. And I turned to my wife and I was like, look, it's, you know, kind of my dream job. I really want to do this. I'm going to throw my name in the ring. I'm still kind of new in the company. You know, who knows if I'm going to get it. My wife was also 6 months pregnant at the time. And I was like, look, dream job. If I get it, though, we have to move, right? We have to move from Boston to Chicago. And she's like, well, you know, a lot of other people are going for the role. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, you know, I hope I get it, but, you know, it's going to be a battle. And she's like, yeah, go for it. And then lo and behold, boom, I get it. And it's like, we're moving. It was a cool journey. Been here now in Chicago for almost 4 years. I love this city. It reminds me of my home city of Houston. It's like big and expansive, and every neighborhood has its own unique personality. It's awesome. I really have been enjoying living here and exploring. I still feel though, after 4 years, I really only know like 10% of the city. I'm in all these different neighborhoods and I keep discovering like a new one, you know. It's so cool. But what my role really kind of boils down to is I get to travel and tell amazing stories about this whiskey, and really, you know, display my passion about this, hopefully to not only other bartenders, but like your guests at Whisky and Comiskey, right? Like being able to tell these stories and hopefully make fans and advocates of our brands along the way, that they love this stuff so much that they want to tell the story to their friends.
You know, when you said you were from Boston, you moved from Boston, I was like, oh, so that's where Davy Jones comes from. But then you said Houston, and I was like, okay, no, never mind.
No, my mom actually just loved the Monkees, the band The Monkees, the lead singer Davy Jones.
My mom does too.
Yeah,
like,
so
my
it was
mom's
just
not in the music, but she, like for some reason it was like the Monkees and a couple of like the Osborne family. It was like all the like the 60s and 70s stuff that she liked.
yeah. My mom just thought Davy Jones was the cutest, and here I am. You know,
That's awesome.
I love it. Now, yeah, we talked about the whiskey at Comiskey, and you know we appreciate how Suntory being a part of it. We're very excited about it. It's something different. We've been doing this for about 3-4 years now, and obviously it started with us just bringing bottles of our own. You know, stuff that you have back there, Jason, stuff that I have in my basement, and then slowly but surely we were able to gain a following, and you know we had some of our friends in the industry bring it, but it's been mostly American whiskey brands because that's typically what we review. Although we did get, you know, our start in Scotch, I pivoted to American whiskey pretty heavily. What can you tell us about the differences between obviously the American whiskeys that we typically are bringing to Whiskey at Comiskey and then what we're bringing on Saturday?
absolutely. So what's unique at Suntory, what's different from what they create than any other distillery in the world, is the ability to make blended single malts as well as blended whiskeys, which is like blended with our single malts and our single grains. We're the only distillery in the world that makes a blended single malt. The way this started is when we opened up our first distillery in 1923, we were the only distillery in all of Japan. Like we started all of it. Like the House of Suntory is the founding spirits maker in Japan. The most popular beverage at the time was blended Scotch. And what blended Scotch is several different single malts, all blended together for uniformity of flavor, right? So everything could be consistent. And when you look at a single malt Scotch distillery, you'll walk in the doors and you'll see unique pot stills, right? You'll see 2 to 3, maybe 4, depending on the distillery, but they're all uniformly exactly the same because they make a specific new make whiskey that that distillery loves, has that flavor profile that they're looking for. But every distillery, their pot stills are different, right? And I mean, there was thousands across the UK, right? When we had the one, right? So we didn't have the luxury of being able to have, to pick from all these different single malt distilleries to make something blended, like a blended Scotch. So when we opened our doors, we opened it up with 12 unique pot stills, all of them completely different, and different sizes and shapes. The line arms tilted in different directions. Some were direct fire, some were indirect fire. So they all created a unique flavor profile, 12 unique different flavor profiles all themselves, that we are then able to blend together. And then we age completely differently as well. We use 3 different types of wood and 5 different types of barrels to start our blending process, our aging process. We use American white oak, we use Spanish oak for sherry casks, and we use Mizunara, which is Japanese water oak. So those are 3 different types of casks, or 3 different types of wood, but the barrels are all uniquely different too. We have 3 different types of American white oak barrels, from first fill bourbon casks to hogshead casks and puncheon casks. These are all American white oak, but they differ in size. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. So there's a lot more surface area for that new make whiskey to play with, to take on flavor, to rest, and to age longer. The larger the barrels too, the longer the aging process we have to do. It slows down maturation. Then we have those sherry casks. They're Oloroso sherry casks, and they're really important to Suntory. If you ever get a chance to visit Yamazaki Distillery, you'll see the very first barrel that we ever aged any whiskey in was a sherry cask. It's pretty cool. You can actually see the very first barrel. And then we use the Mizunara cask as well. So each one of those casks impart a unique flavor all their own. And when that new make whiskey comes off and it's blended together, once it goes into one of those casks, that's where it stays forever, its whole life, until we're ready to pull it out from those casks and blend it together to bottle it into Yamazaki 12 or 18 or bottle cheetah or bottle hakushu. And that gives us a unique ability that nobody else has, because not only do they stay in those barrels for their whole life, but now imagine like all just the American white oak barrels that we have, right? The first fill bourbon casks. We have whiskey that's aging in one of them maybe 12 years old, one of them maybe 22 years old, one of them maybe 37 years old, right? All the different sherry casks, that have all these different kind of age statements. All of those have different flavors of whiskey, right? Because they've been aging at different times, and time affects that flavor. So we're the only distillery in the world that I know of that does that. And that's how we're able to blend all of these amazing whiskeys together to make unique flavor profiles that literally no one else can do.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I quick question for you then, because you were just mentioning about the age statements. What is it different about like Japanese whiskeys and even in scotches where you can go with the super ultra age, like you get over 25 and 30 years, whereas when you do it with the bourbon, you don't get, I mean, you can do it, but it just, the barrel takes over then. So what's so different about what you guys do?
You're really looking at that point in time is location and terroir and temperature and aging processes, right? So the reason that in Scotland and Japan as well is the style of aging and the weather, right? When you're looking, let's just take Islay, for instance, that where Lefroy, Lagavulin, Bamor, all those amazing Islay scotches are. Like the weather is pretty like rainy, kind of cold, pretty temperate like all year round. There's not these like violent heat like swings, right, in temperature. In Japan, where we picked where Yamazaki Distillery is, there are all 4 seasons, but it's not like drastic swings in temperature. And plus, the way we age is called like dunnage style. So when I say dunnage, think dungeon almost. It's in this amazing warehouse that has kind of one temperature, but it does swing when it gets colder, when it snows and that temperature drops, and it does swing when it gets hotter, but it's not these drastic swings in temperature. Like when you're looking in Kentucky, for instance, you look at a rick house that's 7 stories tall, has 50,000 barrels in it. The first floor of a rick house is normally around like 80 degrees to 90 degrees, but when you go to a top floor, it's like 114 to like 120, right?
Yeah.
So that temperature really affects how those barrels age. Also, is the barrel like closer to a window? Is it closer to like the middle of the rick house, like where the sweet spot is? That's going to affect, how that extraction happens in that wood. Those temperature, when it gets hotter and those barrels expand, I call it like taking a deep breath in. That liquid shoots into that wood, right? And then when it gets colder, they finally contract and all that liquid shoots right back out. And so when it's hotter and those barrels are taking a longer, like deeper breath in, it's like sitting in that wood and it's hot and it's like evaporating and like with the angel share, and then it finally cools down. So the longer it sits there and the longer it's expanding and contracting, that wood is definitely going to take over. But there's also, to get like kind of super nerdy, it's also how they make their wort, right? So there's clear wort and cloudy wort. Wort is like what is like before it becomes beer, before it is then distilled into whiskey. There's no wrong way to do it, but it affects the flavor profile. So a lot of cloudy wort whiskeys, a lot of American bourbons do cloudy wort. It gives it this like that biscuity kind of malty flavor in the esters. But in our whiskey at Suntory, we do what's called a clear wort, where it actually kind of naturally filters itself out with the grist and the husk from the single malt. But that produces lighter and fruitier tones for the whiskey, fruitier flavors. So that is also, first off, why our whiskey is a little bit more subtle and refined and complex, but also it's not that crazy heat aging process too, like a rick house produces. So I think those are going to be the main 2 influences right there that'll change that flavor profile, and why we have like a Yamazaki 55, a Hibiki 40, why Lafroig has, I think Lafroig just released, I know they have a 25. I think they're also releasing like a 35 or a 37. Like Bamor has some age statements up there too. Like there's a 21, a 24. I think there's a 27. Like there's a lot of crazier age statements, but that weather also is what keeps into play, because it's not that like violent heat swing.
Yeah. MSRP on the Yamazaki 55.
If you can find it on the secondary market, I think I've seen it sell between $850,000 to $1 million. So I think like one of the last ones I saw on the secondary market went from like 875K or almost 900K. Yeah, it's wild. We did not make a lot of it. We released Hibiki 40 last year. It was last year now. We only made 500 bottles of that for the world. 100 of them stayed in Japan, and then 400 got distributed amongst the rest of the world. We were lucky enough to get 7 in Chicago.
Wow.
So if you want to go drink a $2,500 ounce of whiskey, I can tell you the place to go. Wow. I'm not buying it though.
Jason, we're not gonna see it back there anytime soon behind your stash.
Nope.
Also, Jason, I'm not. Everyone drink at your own pace, but you're kind of our tour guide for these products. Are you on to bottle number 2?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. What's the age statement on the normal Hibiki?
So there is no age statement on Hibiki Japanese Harmony. We do have, and I'm catching up with you too. I'm pouring round 2 right now. So there is no age statement on Hibiki Japanese Harmony. There is some younger whiskey under 12 years old. We don't like to put an age statement on anything that would detract away from Yamazaki 12 as like one of our flagship whiskeys, that flagship age statement for us. Reason being too is Yamazaki 12 in 2024 won Supreme Champion Spirit of the ISC's awards. So in 2024, Yamazaki 12 was the #1 single malt in the world. And in 2025, Yamazaki 18 was the #1 single malt in the world. We did it 2 years in a row. But the cool thing about Hibiki, so we're still talking about a blended whiskey, just like Toki. It's blended. It's a representation of all 3 of our distilleries. But instead of 3 whiskeys, there's 30.
Whoa.
There's 30 different whiskeys blended together to make that unique flavor profile, from Chita, from Hakushu, and from Yamazaki, ranging across all of those different barrels that I talked about earlier, from the American White Oak, from the First Fill Bourbon, the Punchy and the Hogshead casks, our Sherry casks, and our Mizunara casks from all three of the distilleries, all blended together for one unique flavor, where not one whiskey overpowers the other. That's why it's called Japanese harmony. Hibiki in itself translates to resonance. When our master blender, Kaizo Saji-san at the time, and his chief blender, Inotami-san, were creating this whiskey, Inotami-san was thinking about music when he created this whiskey. Specifically, he was listening to Brahms' Symphony in C. If you want to listen to the music he was listening to when he was coming up with this blend in 1989, that was specifically the music he was listening to. But he was also a musician himself. He played the viola. So thinking about music when you're coming up with a blend and thinking about an orchestra, for instance, you think about all these individual instruments and how they sound just beautiful on their own, right? A violin, a viola, a cello, man, makes amazing music. A harp, a timpani, an oboe plays something awesome. But when you bring them all together and they play a symphony for you, like they create something new and beautiful and balanced and harmonious. So that was the idea of balancing all of these whiskeys together to where not one overpowers the other, but they all work together to make a unique flavor profile that is Hibiki itself. So when you're drinking Hibiki Japanese Harmony, you're not supposed to taste more Yamazaki Sherry Cask or more Hakushu Hogshead. You are supposed to you taste Hibiki. And it's super amazing, just delicate, awesome whiskey. It is our introductory to our luxury brand whiskeys too.
I love the mouthfeel on this. Like it's very silky and velvety. Like
that's that Chita coming through, right? The Chita really will coat your mouth. It brings this amazing, satisfying like palate like to the whiskey. It's so great. Also, when you hold up that bottle, if you notice, there's like these little facets, those little lines that wrap all the way around the bottle. There's 24 of them that wrap all the way on top. Those represent 24 hours in a day, but also the Seto, or it's like the lunar and moon calendar, and also the 24 micro growing seasons in Japan. So seasonality is a really big part of Japanese culture, whether it comes to holidays they celebrate, food they eat, whiskey they make, spirits they make, what they harvest at the time to create things. Seasonality is incredibly important. Here in America, we're used to we can just get any flavor, any fruit, any vegetable like we want at any time, right? Like even if it's not in season, we can still somehow get it. Not so much in Japan. Like when things are in season, that's when you get them, right? And it kind of has this intentionality behind it. They practice what's called shun when they're harvesting things. Shun is S-H-U-N. It just really means that you're harvesting these ingredients at like their peak freshness, like when they're as ripe as they can be. So you're giving them to people at when they're their best. And that's a philosophy that we practice not only at our distilleries, but when we're blending our whiskeys as well. And also predominantly when we're blending our gin. All of the botanicals that are in our gin, we harvest those Japanese botanicals at the peak freshness before we distill them. And it's really cool stuff.
a long time ago, me and Peter, we did a Bourbon Bums video, and we titled it Bottle Porn. And it was just like our sexiest looking bottles that we got. And this was one of my picks because I love the way that they make this bottle.
Yeah, and now you know the intentionality behind it and the design and what it means. Yeah.
I love that. I also love the whole seasonality of it all. And while we are kind of spoiled, we were able to get any fruit and vegetable and things like that whenever we want. We do count down the days, Jason. We for the McRib season is big back in the States. Now,
is it back yet?
Yeah, we're
November,
down
October,
the days.
November, I think.
Pardon my ignorance, and like we mentioned, like I at least myself are more singularly focused on American whiskey, but we're back in the day in the forums and in the different things, and I remember one of the Hibiki bottles that had like the floral arrangements to them. We're going for like the hype around that bottle. People were trading like crazy bottles to try to get one of those bottles. Can you tell me a little bit of like what the difference was, or what was the hype behind that Hibiki Harmony bottle?
So here's the secret. It's the same whiskey, right? There's nothing different but the bottle. And it's not a big secret, right? I'm not
Yeah.
like gonna, well, don't fire me, Suntory. No, the thing is, it's called the Artist Series, and we actually pair up with a different artist every year or every other year when we release these to create something new and different. It's like our painted bottle series. So there's always a new Japanese artist that has been tasked to create this really beautiful bottle. And we, again, don't make a lot of them, so they become pretty collectible. They're harder to come by. Sometimes certain liquor stores will get them, or maybe like GTR or like duty free will get some that are different. But they're really just a limited stock of an amazing artist contributing to what we do at Suntory. We released a artist series this last year for Hibiki 21 and Hibiki 30, where the bottles is like gorgeous purple and it looks like this amazing waterfall going down it, and the artist like figured out how to mix marble into his paint to make these amazing realistic waterfalls, and it's really gorgeous. And then this year, and I can't talk about what we're doing this year with the artist series, but there is a new artist series coming out in around like October-ish. I can't, that's all the information I can give you because they will kill me for this one. But it is really, really amazing. I've had the privilege of seeing it. It is an amazing and very beautiful artist series that's coming out around October, November this year. So collectors that love really great bottles, be on the lookout. It is coming out.
I'll be on the lookout if I see the artist release for.
There should be some being released here in Chicago. So the beautiful thing about the brand ambassador living in Chicago is sometimes things come here.
I feel like one of the good things about being in Chicago is that I feel like it's a lot more like bourbon and tequila, and I feel like you'll be able to find some good Japanese whiskey gems, even Scotch like gems too. Just because I don't feel like Chicago is that big of in that realm of spirits.
I think it depends on really like which liquor store and like who the collectors are, but we are growing like crazy, especially with the amount of awards that we're winning. I mean, this isn't the first time we've been rated the number one single malt in the world, but to do it back to back years is pretty awesome. And the fact that we're coming out with like new innovations, not just these amazing bottles, but new blends of whiskey. Actually, we released Hakushu 25 this year. So we have a Hakushu peated 25-year-old that we released, and got a couple bottles here in Chicago floating around as well. But it's really cool, the innovation and the constant strive to continue to make something better and with purpose that Suntory does. So I think you're right. I think the main palate leans towards tequila and leans towards American whiskey and some Scotch whiskey, but the reason I'm out here in Chicago is to spread the love and the word and the education of what Japanese whiskey is, so we can catch up and showcase that there is a time and place for all of these amazing spirits, and whether it's celebration or party or fun or whatever, there's a time and place for all of these amazing things, and there's room for every category. I'm just trying to grow this one.
I love it. And yeah, that's what the Whiskey at Comiskey Tailgates are all about. Now, it started as Whiskey at Comiskey, one, because the name is catchy, and two, we started off with whiskeys, but we've had our friends at Manuscrito Tequila to join us for a couple of them. And on Saturday, we're not only bringing Japanese whiskey, right? We got a couple other spirits that we're bringing. What can you tell us about those?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to be showcasing off our gin and our vodka as well. And again, all blended. Everything we do at Suntory is a blend. The art of blending is like paramount to everything that we create. But our vodka is called Haku. Haku translates into like bright light or brilliant white. And it is the only 100% rice distillate vodka on the market. There are other rice distillate vodkas out there, but none of them are like 100% rice distillate. Most of them are blended with like another neutral grade spirit, like corn or potato or something. But ours is 100% Hakumai rice. It starts its life off as a sochu. It has these amazing like sweet qualities to it, but don't think sugary sweet. Like when you're eating sticky white rice, like that natural starchy sweetness that you get from white rice, like when you're eating sushi. That kind of sweetness really translates throughout the whole vodka. It's after it's a sochu, it's split into two different spirits. One is a heavier spirit, one is a lighter spirit. It's distilled through the largest continuous column still in all of Japan. And then we blend them back together and filter it through bamboo charcoal, which adds like a lot of minerality content to it. But Haku has body to it. It's not a vodka that's thin. It's not a vodka that tastes like nothing, right? A lot of people are like, well, vodka just tastes like vodka. It tastes like vodka. It tastes like vodka, right? It's some kind of neutral grain spirit distilled 8,000 times to be thin and odorless and flavorless, and just you put it in a cocktail, it takes on the flavors of whatever's in there. Suntory, we didn't do that. Our Haku has body. It has a nice, like, approachable sweetness to it, not sugary sweet. It has floral notes to it. It has minerality to it. But more importantly, it has body to it. So when you make a cocktail with it, it really like it coats your whole palate, right? You know you're enjoying something. It's not just a very thin drink. That flavor profile stays with you, and it carries the flavor profiles of whatever you mixed into it further. It's really, really an awesome cocktail, awesome vodka. We also have a Haku Yuzu vodka that we just dropped as well. So there is a yuzu flavored version of that too. And then Roku. It's just an awesome gin. It is made of 6 different Japanese botanicals. There are traditional London Dry botanicals in it as well. So things that you're familiar with if you drink a London Dry, like juniper and angelica root and orange zest and licorice and all those things that make up a traditional London Dry, they're still present in Roku. But it's the 6 Japanese botanicals on top of that we make these amazing micro distillates out of, which is sakura blossom, the sakura flower, and its leaf. We use sanso pepper. We use 2 different types of tea. This is a Gikoro tea and sencha tea, and then also we use fresh yuzu as well. And all of these botanicals are harvested at their peak freshness, like that shun that I was talking about earlier. And then we make micro distillates out of them because we can't harvest like yuzu in winter, right? And then just wait until we harvest everything else, right? And harvest like the sakura in like in spring. We have to harvest these things at the peak freshness and then make distillates out of them. And then we're able to blend all of those together to then create Roku. It's a very crazy process to make an awesome gin. But also our gin has a different flavor profile than most gins do too. It has more of a floral and citrus note to it, and not that, Christmas tree, like juniper-y bite that a lot of other London Dry gins have. It has this, amazing citrus quality to it. So when you're making a cocktail with it, it's very reminiscent of what a gin cocktail is, but there's so many drastic differences of those 6 botanicals that bring into the mix that other gins just can't touch.
And for those who might not know, if you're watching, like yuzu is best described as like a Japanese lemon.
It's like a lemon and an orange had a sexy baby,
Right.
It's like it's citrusy, it's floral, it's sweet.
It's super tart though and potent though.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Oh yeah.
I used to bartend actually at a Japanese, like, it was like Asian restaurant back in the day, and we used a lot of like those flavors, like obviously Asian inspired flavors, and we used yuzu as one of them. And every time there was a recipe, like 1/8 of an ounce would be all you would put in.
Oh yeah, it'll quickly take on a life of its own,
Yep.
Right? It's a pretty bold citrus flavor.
If you put just even a 1/4 ounce of it in there, you'll blow the cocktail out.
So we have an amazing yuzu liqueur now that we make too, so you don't have to worry about doing fresh yuzu, because also those things are massive, they're huge. They're not a lot of fun to work with. So we have this amazing yuzu liqueur as well called Kanada. That's absolutely awesome.
All right, now Davey, we got a couple more minutes left with you, and I want to get to a couple rapid fire questions because that's how we, finish off the show. But Jason, we got to get to the last one because that's the banger of a bottle you got there, and I kind of want to get to
that number one single malt in the world right there.
And then Jason, if you want to
Davey,
you can talk about it.
I was waiting because I know we're gonna save the best for last before we get into the Q&A. I haven't had this in a long time, so.
That's the one right there. That's the one right there that I was like, I took that first sip and I was like, I'm going to work for these guys.
Perfect amount of peatiness to it as well.
Yeah, there's just a little bit. So we actually do peat whiskey at Yamazaki, so there is just like a little bit of smoke, but it's like it's there. Again, it's there. Its presence so minimal. Like we definitely call that like the salt to really accentuate all the other flavors. It's that like just that pinch that you need. But that has all of those 5 barrels that I talked about blended into it. So American White Oak casks, Hogshead Punchy, and American First Fill Bourbon has our sherry cask blended in, has our Mizunara cask blended in. But that Puncheon cask really takes the lead. And those are our largest barrels. So when that new make whiskey is sitting in a Puncheon cask, it has just a long time to just get that depth of flavor, that rich, those vanilla notes, that burnt sugar, that those amazing caramel notes. Like when it's sitting in that Puncheon cask and has all that wood content, like that is that driving force behind Yamazaki 12 right there. The rest of the white oak, has those amazing qualities as well, but they kind of just add that spice to it. The sherry cask brings in those amazing fruit notes on the back end, and then finally Mizunara has these amazing sandalwood qualities to it. This amazing incense notes, this spiciness to it. It also adds kind of like a custardy creaminess, like to the body of the whiskey. Mizunara by itself is hands down like my favorite thing, like the favorite component that we have. When you get to taste Yamazaki that's just been in a Mizunara cask, it has just a sexiness to it that's unmatched.
It's very, very good.
There's a reason, right? There's a reason. #1 single malt in the world.
I don't know if I could wait till Saturday, but Jason, I might come over tomorrow.
About over.
Before I let you go, or before we let you go, we kind of do this with all of our guests, and it's just kind of rapid fire questions about kind of random things, but pertaining to the topic we've been talking about. So I just want to do a couple rapid fire whiskey questions for you. Outside of Suntory, what's your go-to whiskey?
Old Granddad.
Old Granddad. Are you doing 114 or just a standard bottle?
I mean, I like BIB, man. Old Granddad bottled and bond. I mean, that was a bourbon. As a 20-year veteran bartender, getting off shift, having a high life, and an Old Granddad and a cigarette were like the best things in the world. And they are, it's awesome. Yeah. My go-to bourbon outside Suntory is Old Granddad, 100 proof bottle and bond.
Granddad High Life cigarette. I'm at my mom's house. We got like crosses everywhere. That might be the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Well, dude, when you're getting off work at like 3:34 in the morning, like after a 14-hour shift, man, nothing hits like that. But no one works 14-hour shifts anymore, so that's me showing how old I am.
Best whiskey you've ever had?
Oh, shit. Best whiskey I've ever had. But more 21-year-old has a special place in my heart. Lovely peatiness, but not overpowering. A lot of sherry. I mean, I love sherry cask whiskeys, and that has just this amazing like fruity quality to it, and that smokiness. That's like sitting down at a campfire with like your best friends, for a couple hours whiskey. Like that's up there. This hands down one of my favorites.
Do you have a Holy Grail bottle?
Well, one that anyone got $800,000 so we can go get a Yamazaki 55. But I'm actually trying to stay out of our portfolio. Man, a Holy Grail whiskey for me. Trying to think of something that I just want, but I don't have. Again, like you guys said, you started off with Scotch. I'm a big Scotch drinker as well, and I do love like the smoky stuff. I love Talisker. I love Oban. So I don't know if there's like a crazy Oban out there that has some kind of like crazy age statement that I haven't seen or heard of. I would probably leap or jump on that. I'm a big Oban fan. It's my other bottle and my other go-to bottle that is like right next to each other. My daily drivers is the Yamazaki Distillers Reserve and Oban. Those are my two, like right there and next to my glasses, like if I'm gonna have a nightcap. So
All right, now Jason, I don't want to throw you under the bus. You recently did a Bourbon Bums review with our buddy Dougie, where you said a bottle, we won't name it, but you said this could be the perfect old fashioned whiskey, and I was like, what in the hell? What are you talking about? What is if you're making an old fashioned? What are you making it with?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I mean, I do, to go back to old granddad, 114 rips in an old fashioned. Um, but I do tend to like things a little bit more on the delicate side. I don't I don't want it sitting at 86 proof. I do want it, kind of sitting in like that 90 proof to like 95 proof range, because it holds up in a stirred drink. Um, I'm also kind of a rye guy, so Michner's kind of like folds into that for me. Maybe if I'm doing like a split base too with a rye and a bourbon. Um, I do like something like a high rye finish as well. I like that spiciness. But like honestly, Maker's Mark 101, that bangs in an old fashioned.
Yeah.
It is that higher proof, like that 101, but when you stir it, dilute it down a little bit, it doesn't like burn your ears. It's like it sits for a while with you. And it has that like that soft sweetness that Makers is famous for. But
Yeah,
like
that
that's a
dessertiness.
really I think 101 is probably one of my absolute favorites to make an old fashioned with.
Love it. Now you said you've been in Chicago for 3-4 years now. If
Yeah.
me, Jason, and yourself are going to have a couple drinks, have a couple pours, what's the whiskey bar you're taking us to?
Cop out answer, Delilah's. As you
Yeah,
can see that I
that's a
am.
very easy
I
answer.
mean, I
I love
mean,
Delilah's.
as you
Everybody
can
does.
tell, like I'm punk as fuck, so I love going to Delilah's. My guy. But it also depends on like the mood that I'm in too, right? Like I love going there. Mike's the fucking man. But if you haven't been to the basement bar at Kamiko, their Japanese whiskey
I've been
bar
wanting to
in the
go.
basement, dude.
That's on my
That
me and my that's on me and my wife's list of. We almost
dude.
went a couple weeks or a couple when was it? Beginning of April. We were both on vacation and we were out for date night on a Tuesday. We went to we were actually going to go down to West Loop and then go to Kamiko and just do cocktails, but they were closed on Tuesday.
Yeah, it closed Monday and Tuesday. But yeah, when you get a chance, man, that basement bar is
It's number
stellar.
10 in the
It's top
world.
notch,
Number
man.
10 in the world right now, I think.
So they won was it last year at the Spirit Awards at Tales. They won Best Bar Midwest, Best Bar Chicago, and Best Bar in the world for Tales of the Cocktail like last year. Yeah, they're number 10 for top 50. They're 10 or 11 for top 50.
I'm looking.
Um,
Yeah, I'm looking right now
but
for the world.
yeah, they are. I mean, hands down, my favorite bar, like the best whiskey bar and like the best Japanese bar, hands down in Chicago is Kumiko. Um, my other favorite little sneaky place that I'll take you to isn't far away from Kumiko, uh, and they have one of the best Japanese whiskey selections in the city. I think outside of Kumiko, and it's called Johto Sushi at the CH Distillery. Famous for Malort,
Yeah, yeah.
but they also have this amazing sushi omakase inside. Um, they have Toki highball machines, so you can get the perfect Toki highball. But their Japanese whiskey selection is insane, and it is a fun place to hang out. The food is great. So if you want that same kind of like party vibe with amazing whiskey and cocktails, like Jodo's there, and then we can leave Jodo and walk to Kamiko and have like a quiet like whiskey at the end of the night.
I love it. Davey, thank you so much. This has been an awesome conversation. I know we were excited about Saturday. Now I'm just even more amped. I hope our listeners and I hope our the people watching and the people, our patrons, are excited because it's going to be a really fun time, and we appreciate everyone at Suntory. I'm going to remind everybody once again before I let everybody go. Whiskey at Comiskey is this Saturday. Dodgers versus White Sox. We will be there in Lot B with delicious subs from JP Graziano's, Off Hours Beers, Malort, and of course, all of the things we talked about today from the House of Suntory. Davey, this was a blast. Hopefully, it's not the last time we chat, but
Let's do it again. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all too. Thank you so much for your time today, for hanging out, and come pie. Cheers, my friends.
Cheers. Thank you, Davey.
Salute. All right, Jason, I'm going to wrap up the show. I just got one last thing to talk about, and that is next week on the Bologna Show, we got our guy, the Drama King, Matthew Raywalt from TNA Wrestling, Rebooked Wrestling Podcast. He's also a whiskey guy. He's a wrestling, obviously. I mean, he's a literal professional wrestler, but I followed him because of his whiskey reviews way back in the day. So we're going to talk about all things whiskey, all things wrestling. We're going to talk about TNA and the Rebooked Wrestling Podcast. That's going to be next week on the Bologna Show. We're excited to see everybody on Saturday for Whiskey at Comiskey. I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate everyone listening on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcast. Jason, obviously, thank you so much for hanging out and doing the Bourbon Bums things with us. I got to get back to your bar. It's been a while since I've been in the bar, so
We got some reviews to do, my friend.
we got some reviews to do. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys on Saturday at Whiskey at Comiskey.
Goodbye.